Sam Darnold a little bit. You spent time with him last year, obviously.
Yeah, Sam, the success he's had this year, last year, doesn't come to a surprise to me at least. When you see the way he works, his diligence, his approach, his process, he's earned all the success he's had. People talk about the tremendous story with the adversity he's overcome, a bunch of different situations, maybe less than desirable situations, but he's earned it to follow and stick through all of that stuff, ups and downs, and to keep working the way he's worked and the humility he approaches it with. It's awesome to see a guy like that have that type of success.
And Grant, I just counted your 3 tight ends. Morris Munt, long 194 games and 17 NFL years combined. So do you feel pretty good about recreating Brenton in the aggregate, or what these 3 guys are going to do for you until Brenton gets back?
I don't know that we're necessarily trying to replace Bretton, because he is a guy who has unique talents and poses unique challenges to defense. He's got skills in the run game, pass game, screen game. I know Trevor talked about it, how he adds a lot to our offense, even stuff that might not be seen on the stat page. But I do think what you're trying to do is take advantage of those guys' skills and what they can provide to the offense, and I think that's a wide variety of things. Johnny Munt, Hunter Long, Morris, all of those guys can be valuable in the run game, pass game, line up in different positions, in the backfield, out wide, at the tight end spot, on and off the ball, doing a bunch of different things. So their skills and those guys just being themselves will be more than enough if we go out there and execute and use them properly.
Hey Grant, going through your mind when Trevor hit the deck on the winning play?
I think the first thing going through my mind was just protect the ball, and you probably instantly start thinking about, all right, what's the next play to get back on the ball, the situation, clock's running, what yard line you're on, what hash you're on, what defense are they in, what personnel are we in. So you're almost trying to move on to the next thing, and then when he pops up and the play keeps going, you're thinking protect the ball, you don't want to make the bad situation worse, and then all of a sudden you see him cross the goal line and everyone's celebrating. So it was definitely a favorable turn of events and a pleasant surprise in that regard, but probably started thinking a little bit too early about what next.
Joe Monheim, he was called into duty late in that game. How do you think he did? And I mean, what's the confidence level if you need to lean on him moving forward?
I think his composure was phenomenal for those guys to not feel really any difference in the terms of the communication, the operation. It's a testament to his work ethic and his preparation, how diligent he is. Hasn't gotten a ton of reps, and really is the one position where we didn't have a lot of rotation. We've talked about the rotation that we had in training camp and the offseason, playing guys at guard, playing guys at tackle, switching guys sides from left to right, right to left. Center was kind of the one position where we did not do a lot of that, but he was able to go in there and mesh with those guys. It's not just the center to quarterback, it's also the center to guard, center communicating out to the tackle, center communicating out to the tight ends at times. And he was able to go in there in that situation, in that environment with the game on the line, and really leave the full playbook open to us. Is awesome to have that type of flexibility from not only a rookie, but just a backup center in general.
Hey Grant, Chuma said it's time to consider throwing him a pass when he's in there. But seriously, when you put him or Cole in there a couple times, what do you like about that jumbo package?
Well, the value that he brings, even when he goes in at tackle, is the same value that he brings at tight end. He's a guy that can match up in one-on-one blocks, but he can also work in combination with offensive guards, offensive tackles, because he's used to doing all that work. Both guys really are used to taking reps on all 5 positions, or 4 for Chuma and 5 for Cole across the offensive line. So they're used to working with the tackles. They're used to working with when they're at guard. They're used to working with the tight ends when they're at tackle. So they're very familiar with those combinations and those blocks and those protections and how things kind of play out from a technical perspective. So it's great to take a guy with those skill sets who might be bigger and have a little bit more time on task from a run game or pass protection standpoint than a tight end, just by the nature of the constraints of their time, and be able to plug him in there and not feel totally foreign at that tight end spot. So that's the nice thing about Cole and Chuma, because they have that chemistry across the entire offensive line.
Coach, talk to us about LaQuinn Allen. Down the stretch, he made some big blocks. Talk with us a little bit about you guys' trusting him to go out there and do that as a rookie. That's huge, right?
Absolutely. And he's another guy, we talked about Jonah, he's another guy where it's a testament to his work ethic and his approach throughout the week. The amount of time that he and really all of the backs put in to knowing the game plan, knowing the opponent, mastering their role and responsibility is phenomenal to see. They put in a bunch of extra work, whether it's walkthroughs, studying film, doing extra learning tools with Coach Morton, who does a great job of getting those guys ready and going above and beyond to make sure they know every look, every assignment, every call like the back of their hand. That stuff is really impressive. And like we talked about Diami last week, it's infectious for the whole room. When guys, whether it's the running back room, offensive line, quarterback, see a player, rookie or not, out there working the way he works on a Wednesday, working the way he works on a Thursday, and then going out there on Sunday and flying around to the ball, it is contagious for everybody, and it changes the way guys play. It changes the way the identity of the offense. I think the play that stands out to me really is in San Fran, the fumble for Travis. And there's a couple plays in that game, earlier in that game, where LaQuint Allen is flying to the ball after a ball is thrown. Now, nothing comes of it because it's either an incomplete pass or he doesn't get to the block in time because the guy gets tackled. But he has that commitment to the process of doing it every single time. And then when the ball's on the ground, who's in the right spot to go pick it up? It's LaQuint Allen. So that type of stuff, I mean, it borderline makes me tear up looking at that stuff, to see him get that ball there and put us in good position to score. I won't get emotional up here doing it, but that's really, really special.
Ezra, with that physical block on Trevor's touchdown, is that just the kind of player that you guys have known him to be as since you got here?
I think so, and I think the whole offense has tried to embrace that identity. Like LaQuint and his attitude and effort being contagious, really the offensive line, the wideouts, the tight ends, all kind of buying in on that toughness and attacking mindset, whether it's blocks, transitioning the block in the pass game, or whether it's just coming off the ball. I think the entire group has done a good job of continuing to progress and embrace that identity as an offense.
How
What makes,
tough,
go ahead.
how tough were some of those throws that Trevor made down the stretch in that Monday night game?
Those are certainly big time throws. I think Coach talked about in those situations, fourth quarter, game on the line, third downs, fourth downs. Those are the moments that guys are often judged at their ability. They're judged upon those situations. So to be able to stand in there and make those throws when you've been running around doing a bunch of different things earlier in the night and make those throws is awesome to see his composure, to be able to stand in there, make those reads, hit those guys on time, in rhythm, proper footwork, proper reads, all that stuff. Like the rest of the guys, it's the work that he does on Wednesday, Thursday, all offseason that builds to that, where in that crunch time he can fall back on that training that lets him go out there and make those.
What makes Leonard Williams a unique player?
Well, certainly the talent and the toughness and the strength, size, speed, all of that pops out on tape. Very, very, very difficult to match up with. One-on-one, I mean, even two-on-one double teams, his block recognition, run game, pass game, he poses issues. And he's another guy, like we talked about last week, who can line up inside, lines up a little bit wider, lines up a little bit tighter. So a number of different techniques, so you can really have all 5 of your offensive linemen could end up matched on him within one game.
What has made the Seahawks front kind of so difficult to run the ball against?
They do a phenomenal job top to bottom. They're a deep group, but they play hard, they come off the ball, they do a great job with their hands. Like Leonard, their block recognition is phenomenal. Really well coordinated in the run game with their fits and the rush. So they really do a great job collectively as the front, the guys on the line, as well as the linebacking unit. You can tell they're coached tough, play hard, and they're disciplined. That's a really tough combination to beat.
Knowing that Seattle's defense just played the Bucs, that has a little bit of a taste of Cullen still left in it, does that make game planning this week a little bit more difficult for you guys?
I don't know that it makes it more difficult. It's a little similar to when we talked about Carolina, and he had played against Carolina in the previous year. You're using all the information available, so there are similar presentations that they have to things that we do or things we have done. So you try to take nuggets from that, and it might help in some instances where you get a little bit of information on how defenses play things similar to how we do things. It may hurt a little bit because they've done something that we wanted to do or we haven't done, or they do something differently, or you realize something didn't work. But every week there's typically going to be one opponent or somebody that does something similar to what we do, or lines up in similar ways or similar motions that we're trying to get information from it in some form or fashion.
Thanks, Greg.
Awesome.